Joy comes in the morning. That's what Mama used to always say to me. But there was times where I'd wake up and there wouldn't be any joy. And I would think, Mama, where is this joy that you speak of? But she would constantly say it over and over and over again. And a lot of things that my mom said, I didn't get the meaning until later on. Now, I believe that she wanted me to be happy in the morning. She wanted me to be joyous in the morning. But she would always say, joy comes in the morning, son. Don't grow weary in doing good works. Joy comes in the morning. Well, this morning when I sat down and I was reading Proverbs 1, it was talking about the benefits of wisdom and all this. And I was thinking, how could this actually connect with joy comes in the morning? Because there's times where I'm foggy, there's times where I'm tired, there's times where I'm, a little weary, whatever it is. And I want to encourage you in those times, because what I learned today is that saying joy comes in the morning was not only literal for my mom, but it was also metaphorical. And what she was meaning is that the morning is not just when the sun rises, it's after you get rest. And what God said to me today was, come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And see, when we spend time with God, then we get rest. And when we rise from that rest, that's the morning. And joy comes in the morning. Joy is the art of falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen. So if I want to find the morning comes after the rest, and the rest comes after spending time with God. So if we spend time with God, we get rest. He will bring the morning, and that will bring joy. So let's hop into Proverbs 1 and get this party started.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Have you ever got your cord wrapped around everything in your, like you take your headphone cord and then some way, somehow, I don't know how this happens, but it magically gets wrapped 100 times around something, and then you go to try and take it out, and you're in a hurry, and you pull on it, and it just creates a knot. That's what was just happening while the commercial was running, and I was getting ready, and then I was starting to feel, oh my gosh, I was starting to feel this little angst, and God just let me know that, the joy comes in the morning, rest in me. And that's what this morning was all about. And if this is the first time joining us, we go through the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. There's 3 shows on this podcast, so you're going to get a mixed bag. You're going to get this, which is daily inspiration. You could take me on your walk in the morning. And also, we've got one where I go live and I call my friends randomly. It's called You Have to Meet My Friends. And that one is a funny one. A lot of my friends don't even answer their phone anymore because they think that they're going to be on the podcast, which at some point, if I have your phone number, I'm going to call you and you're going to be on the podcast at some point. And then we also have where I interview some of the most iconic people in the world. And so you get a mixed bag. I wanted to make sure that you stay as entertained as possible. This morning is Inchstones, which is the small little things that we can celebrate and pile up, and they become the milestones. As opposed to focusing on the milestones, they become inevitable when we stack up the Inchstones. And when we go little bit by little bit, it's incredible what can happen. Although when you get ahead of yourself and you think that the timing should be your timing and not God's timing, that's where we get into a lot of trouble. When I sit down with Proverbs 2, I just want to give you a quick overview. If you want to follow along with us every day, I invite you to. That is, you can actually get the book, which is called Inchstones, The Vibe Within, and it takes you through the corresponding proverb, corresponding day like we do, and then it asks you what verse hit your heart, what did it make you think about? What action can you add to it today? And it takes you through 3 months of that. So that's available. The link is in the bio. Check that out. If you want to experience it in person, you can come to the Vibe Experience. It's coming in September, and we're going to be doing it here in Carlsbad or the San Diego area, which is going to be amazing. And obviously, you could just listen to us or watch us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple and do all the stuff. But what I want you to understand too is when you go through Proverbs, you start reading it. The first 10 chapters of Proverbs, so from 1 through 10, is going to be all the features and benefits of what wisdom is. And then from 11 through 20 is going to be all the ramifications of silliness, right? Silliness is just the absence of wisdom. And though it's going to talk about from chapter 11 through 20, it's going to talk about the ramifications. And then from 21 through 30, this is where it gets really strong. And it's like, if you're a bonehead, these things are going to happen. So choose wisdom. So it starts with the benefits. It goes through the ramifications of silliness, which is the absence of wisdom. And then it goes through and says, like, honestly, like these things are going to happen. And we want you to choose wisdom. And finally, in Proverbs 31, it's the payoff, which is the Proverbs 31 woman, or you could put the Proverbs 31 business or friendship. And if you read Proverbs 31, honestly, you'll honor your wife at a completely different level. So I invite you to do it. Even today, do it, list those things off, and then it shows you how to compliment your woman all the way down in order. And when you get them in order, you'll find that your relationship ain't going to be perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than it is right now. So let's dive into chapter 1, Proverbs chapter 1. And this joy comes in the morning was a big thing for my mom, and she would say it all the time. And then there was a song, I can't remember the musical artist that I used to listen to, but he had a song called Joy Comes in the Morning. And when I would be having challenges, and sometimes people have challenges around the first of the month, or, when the bills are due, or any of those things, I would always think like joy comes in the morning, and I would wake up and I would try and get myself in that mind state. Although there was times where the morning didn't bring joy. And what God was revealing to me today was that he was talking about it being metaphorical. And the only true rest that we'll ever get is when we really rest in him and we allow him to do the work as opposed to we're doing the work. And when we're rested and refreshed, then the morning comes. So if we want joy, then we'll just spend time with God. He will give us rest, and then we'll wake from that rest and we'll have joy, which is the art of falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen. So it's not just about the sunrise. You can have morning whenever you rest in God. And so Proverbs 1 invites us to a relationship that has endless benefits and will give you the rest that promises joy, right? So let's dive in verse 1 through 3. You gain and receive so you can do and give. This one was a hard one for me because I was like, no, I will gain and receive things because I want them to turn out the way that I want them to. But what God was saying is you only gain and receive wisdom and knowledge and insight so that you can do the right thing and you can give it away to every single person around you. And when that happens, you see examples of this. Like I think of, say, my brother Rob. He has gained and received many blessings in his life. And what does he do? He does the right thing, which continues to help him to be able to gain and receive amazing things and blessings. But also he's giving. He's giving to the community. He's giving. And when you see businesses that do this, they give. Here's a little business tip. If you have a local business, create a local business focus. And that local business focus will mean that you just turn the spotlight on a business in your community, and through your newsletter or your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter or your LinkedIn, write an article about that company, but ask nothing in return. Just ask them for their link to their website, whatever it is, and then send out to all of your people that you have in your database and tell them how great that company is. This transformed our business in Chicago and Las Vegas and, in San Diego and Carlsbad and Salt Lake, because what we did is we built up all the businesses around us. And what God is saying in this is that we gain and receive wisdom, knowledge, insight, discretion, understanding. We get all that so we could do the right thing and then we could give it away. And we could give it away so then people will say, like, what is different about you? Well, I could tell you what's different about me is that I just spend time with God. And when I spend time with God, then I get rest. And when I get rest, then I have joy because joy comes in the morning and the morning comes after the rest. So in verse 5 and 6 is listen and receive, and you will understand wisdom. Listen and receive, right? So there's times where we listen, but we don't receive it. We've all given advice to that person who asked for advice, and when they asked for it, then we gave it, and then we saw them the next week, and they weren't doing what we were talking about. Now, that's just because they were only hearing where they were at, and most of the time we didn't ask the right questions. Do you want me to just listen so I can hear you, or do you want me to listen and give input or counsel, right? And I tell you, the quickest way to be able to gain a mentor, any one of you out there, if you want to be mentored by anyone who has a high level of achievement or anything like that, there's just a couple components. Number one, ask very specific questions. Number two, have a timeline on the time that you're going to spend with them. And then go and apply exactly what they said and then bring them back results. You do those 4 things, you'll have any mentor in the world. And, it'll open up access to, because most people ask for advice, but then they'll never do it. They ask, can I pick your brain? But then they'll never do it. If you ask specific questions, have an unreasonable time, meaning like 4 minutes and 27 seconds, whatever it is, go apply it and then bring them back results. It makes things incredible. So in this listen and receive, and you will understand wisdom. So if you listen to it and you receive it, right? But you got to receive it and you will understand wisdom. So wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and all the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. So if you want to have understanding in your life, well, if you want understanding, you got to have knowledge first, right? Before understanding, because knowledge comes before understanding. But there's no reason to get knowledge unless you have the right use of it, and there's no way to be able to get that wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, unless you spend time with God. And what God is saying is, spend time with me. I've got the features and benefits. I will give you rest. And then you'll have joy in the morning, which is when you wake from your rest. And I was just watching, and you hear this all the time, that one of the most important things that you'll ever get, the most important parts of any aspect of whether it be business, relationship, anything like that, is sleep and rest. And the way that we can truly, truly rest is in Him. So in verse 7, the formula is simple: fear God. Fear God is the respect of God. The only way you can respect something is if you spend time with it, spend time with that thing, and what it says and what it does coincides, and it's aligned. Once that's aligned, then you respect it. So watch this. The formula is simple: just fear God. Like, that means you have to spend time with Him, see His words, see His actions, and they come in line. Now, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be on your time, and sometimes that's going to be frustrating, but I promise you, even in the darkest times, even in the darkest morning. This morning, I was having a tough time getting out of bed. And I was like, Mom, how are you going to tell me that joy comes in the morning? And it was incredible because not only my mom, but spending time on my dog walk and then spending time in the Word this morning, then I'm finding that God was saying it was literal, joy comes in the morning, but it's metaphorical too. And the metaphor there, son, is that morning comes after the rest, and the rest is in me. And that's when you'll truly be refreshed. So in verse 8 and 9, listen, accept, apply, and guard wisdom at all costs. When we seek out wisdom, we got to listen to it. When we listen to it, we got to apply it. When we apply it, then we'll respect it. And then the cycle starts again, right? And so in verse 10 through 19 is God prepares us with His wisdom because He knows what's coming. I had a conversation with my daughter the other night, and I said, there's gonna be some dark times coming. There's gonna be some times where I'm not gonna be able to walk with you. But what God wants you to know right now, before those dark times happen, He wants you to know who you are. He wants you to know how awesome you are. He wants you to know how beautiful you are. And because when you walk down those dark places, what's gonna happen is there's gonna be things that tell you that you're not who you are. They're going to call you by a different name. And I said to her, I want you, that's why I want you right now to store up wisdom. I want you to store up who you are. I want you to see your beauty in what God has for you. And then when those dark times happen, it'll be like a North Star for you. Because God knows what's coming, so he prepares us with wisdom, and wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and that wisdom comes from the fear of God. He just wants to spend time with us and prepare us because he knows there's going to be some challenging times coming. And there's going to be times where we're struggling for joy that will come in the morning because we think, oh my gosh, this thing will never end. This circumstance will never end. I'm going through this, business challenge. I'm going through this relational challenge, whatever it is. And God is saying, like, joy comes in the morning, but the morning comes after the rest, and the rest will come from spending time with me. Let me refresh you. That's what God is saying to you right now. And he's calling all of us to just spend time with him. In verse 20 through 27, wisdom is calling out conspicuously and has unlimited benefits. It's silly not to choose it. In verse 20 through 27, God talked about wisdom, and he said, I'm going to do it in the most conspicuous places in the world. I'm going to yell at the top of my lungs. I'm going to make sure that you can hear it. And whenever you turn and whenever you come and spend time with me, I will take it. Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's what he says. And he doesn't want us to take on the weight of the world. And if you got the weight of the world on you right now, he's just saying, I've got unlimited benefits. I'm screaming for you. And it would be silly not to choose wisdom. In verse 28 through 32 is inviting silliness will create silly results. I always think of my mom when I hear silly, because she would say that all the time. Don't be silly. Don't do silly things. But inviting silliness, which is the absence of wisdom, will create silly results. Whatever seed you plant, you will harvest that seed. Right? That's what's going to grow. That's what the crop is going to be. And I said it to some young kids when I was teaching for Paul Mitchell years ago. I sat down and I said, you cannot be mad at the seed. You can't be mad at an apple tree for producing apples. You can't stand in front of an apple tree and be like, you should have produced oranges. Well, how did that tree grow? It's because of a seed. So you can't plant apple seeds and expect an orange tree. So if you're having challenges in your life right now, look back at the seed that was planted. And the only person that can plant seeds in your life is you. And some people say it's my circumstances or things. No, it's the way that we react to them. So inviting silliness will create silly results. As we finish up is verse 33. And this was great because this joy comes in the morning thing. It confused me because, again, I would wake up and I wouldn't have joy. I wouldn't have joy. I would be like, God, if you're real and you say like joy comes in the morning, this would be what my mom said. And I was like, well, if my mom said it was true, but joy comes in the morning. That's what she kept saying. But I was confused by it. And then when I realized that the morning comes after the rest and the rest comes in him. And when we spend time with him, we'll get rest. And then the joy will come because the morning will come after the rest. And I started to think about like, what if all the circumstances, what if all the challenges that are going on, what if the challenges personally, professionally, spiritually, or financially, all these things, like what if I've done too many things and, I'm at the point of what I think no return. And I've had people at this place, and especially with addiction, this happens. Where you get to a place and you say, I've done all these wrong things. I've done all these awful things. There's no way that I can come back from this. And it was great because in verse 33 of Proverbs 1, what God says to us is no matter how bad it gets, when you choose wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, and that begins with the fear of God, when you choose that, everything will be okay. It's boom, just like that. And not to say that it's going to turn around and all your circumstances are going to go. No, but he's going to walk with you and he's going to give you rest in the midst of a storm. And when you get rest in the midst of the storm, guess what's going to happen? Joy is going to come because that morning will come and joy will be there, which is the art of falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen. It's not changing the circumstances. So you will become like okay with the circumstance, and that he's saying, I am going to bless you exactly where you're at right now. And all you have to do is call on me. I am there whenever you call. No matter how far you've strayed, no matter where you've gone, you call, I will be there. And everything will be okay? The answer is always the fear of God. This is the beginning of wisdom. Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's what he says. He promises this. And when you wake from the rest, joy will come in the morning. I want to thank my mama so much because I love you. You prepared me with so many things. I believe that at 16, when you had Rob, as a very, very young lady, I believe that you knew that you were going to check out early. And so you took every single moment of your life and you imparted wisdom into all three of us boys. And you told us that we would move mountains. You told us that we would rule great nations. You told us that we could do anything that we put our mind to, but just because we could do it didn't make it our purpose. I want to thank you, Mama, because now I understand how joy comes in the morning. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Inchstones. I want you to check out any of the podcasts, whether it be the interviews, the times where I go live and I call my friends randomly. Coming up on May 8th, make sure you tune in. Speech from Arrested Development. Yes, I said that correctly. Mr. Wendell, People Every Day, Tennessee, new single that's out called All I See Is Melanin. This man's speech is going to be on the podcast. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Make sure you share it with a friend. I love you so much. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.